All right, cool. Oh, I see Big Sloth up in the fucking whatchamacallit. Ugh. All right, there we go. I've done my duty. I let people know. So, yesterday, very close to completing the typeset of Space Tards. So, working on this one, I worked off of the template file from Master Arcanist, and I realized that I printed Master Arcanist fucking double spaced. It's in large print. It's large print, double spaced. But honestly, it's kind of cool because Arcanist is about an old wizard that's going blind. Oh, what's up, Bear Claw? Right there. I don't know if I know you, but welcome to the stream, or welcome back to the stream. One way or the other, we're gonna get everybody up in here. Um, so yeah, Arcanist is about an old wizard who's going blind. So it kind of makes sense that I publish it in a large print edition, but it's like 50 pages longer than it needs to be, and every one of those pages like costs money when you print the book. But you know, I'm at like such a low. Oh, there's a Bradosaurus or Bradius there again. So we've made it to day 26 in our edit. So this is a linear narrative. This book is called Lemon Maybe and the Electric Lady. It's a noir superhero book set in New York City, where people make nothing but bad decisions, and it's getting pretty dark at the moment here. The most recent events that just happened is that a young man who may or may not be possessed by the devil. A little early for me to be getting so intense here, but yeah, possessed by the devil, has just gone out to what boulevard is that? Rockaway Boulevard, with an assault rifle, and has shot down a passenger airplane. By literally, there's a spot in on Rockaway Parkway where the planes come in, and they're only about 200 or 300 feet off of the ground. So he goes out there in a stolen police car and opens fire on the cockpit, killing both pilots. And they wind up crashing the plane into Terminal 5 of JFK. Terminal 5 is an awesome terminal, by the way, because the TWA Hotel is there. I fucking love the TWA Hotel. Somebody very special once surprised me by taking me out there. It was real. Anyhow, what else we got going on there? Life is good. So the story is framed as this whole thing takes place outside of like the prologue and like a little bit of setup. It all takes place over 7 days. So we finished the first day in just 200 pages. Hopefully the subsequent days will be shorter. Necessarily they would be, since we have 640 pages, and in one day we ate up about 220. But setup in a book is, you set them up and you knock them down. So without further ado, let's hop into it here. I think I have a few new people in the stream today, so I'm going to try and just toss in a little bit about who these characters are and what they're doing. Also going to try and get some coffee in me because it's critical. So day 22. This character is Sarah Shiner. She is an electrician who has been one since she dropped out of high school. Her father died of a heart attack when she was either 16 or 17, and she had been his apprentice. And rather than completing high school, she just went right to work, got a union job, does like a bunch of high-end commercial lighting and stuff like that. Really meant to be like a pretty tough character. But her kink, I guess, is that she started to physically see electricity. Like at first she was just seeing like transformers glowing under the sidewalk, and like seeing high voltage charges on subway lines and stuff like that. But her perception has deepened. It's deepened to the point where she starts seeing regular electrical lines in walls, and gone deeper still to where she's starting to see like static electricity and individual neurons firing in people's heads. It's just a little suspension of disbelief. I know that neurons are very, very teeny tiny, but she can see people's nerves firing and so forth. And another consequence is that she is continually building up an electric charge just in her body. And if you make contact with her, she will zap the shit out of you. She has no control over this. And it prevents her from having any kind of human contact. She has to wear like a insulated suit all the time to keep from just zapping people on the subway and so forth. So that's that character. When we find her here on the second day, and this is 5:44 a.m., which would be just about the dawn in New York at that time, she has just wandered out onto a beach in the middle of a lightning storm and getting struck by lightning, and rather than being burnt to a crisp or electrocuted, she is energized by this experience and has a series of powerful orgasms. It's that kind of book. So day two. But she woke up afterward and found that all of her clothes had been burned up, her wallet, her Metro card, fucking everything, and just incinerated by the lightning. But she's okay. Sounds gnarly. Yeah, like, I'm not going to get into all of it, but, the Invisible Man, he's a real fucking freak in this. You got a guy who can teleport, but he's a coward. So he just keeps teleporting away back to his apartment. A garbage bag. Oh, shout out to Skip Donahue right there in the mixer set. That's what she could manage. A black plastic garbage bag from one of the barrels on the boardwalk. A garbage bag protects your torso, but electricity wouldn't spark from there. It would spark from extremities. Absolutely true. Though we're taking like some big liberties with how electricity works in here, we try to have a little bit, we try to be relatively consistent with how things short out, and with the way that breakers and transformers and so forth actually work in the story. We do have one relatively big divergence from reality earlier in the story. A guy gets shocked, and it's written as he flies backward, but we know that electricity can't do that, and it just basically is him like a muscle contraction making him leap backward. You know what I mean? Liberties. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, liberties for these libertines. But so another kind of quirk of this book is that it's written for the most part in present tense, which is like a very very stylistic choice that turns off a lot of readers, frankly. But I think it works really well with the type of New York City here now thing we're trying to evoke. So, but it's also difficult to continuously write in first tense, or not first tense, but present tense. so there'll be a lot of corrections. That's what she could manage. A black plastic garbage bag from one of the barrels on the boardwalk, sticky with soda and stale beer, full of half-eaten hot dogs and wrappers and all kinds of shit she doesn't want to think about. She dumped it out and took it to the ocean to rinse all the sticky shit off it. To rinse all the yuck out of it, tore out holes for her arms and head and put it on. So, I was right the first time to rinse all this shit off of it. Yeah, yuck doesn't quite track. I like it. I like it. So also, the book is told through the narrator voice of a guy named Lemon Lemoyne, who owns a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen called The Pits. And it's meant to be peppered with like his aphorisms and his speech mannerisms. We still have the point of view of the characters, but it should all be shaded through the voice of his retelling, not his direct retelling, right? But it's just that's the voice of the narrator. This guy. Yeah, probably literal shit in that bag too. Ugh. Okay, this is vast hyperbole, by the way. One lightning strike is not even like a finger of what it takes to power half the city. Okay. Last night, Sarah absorbed enough power to light half the city. She took it willingly and rose from the smoldering glass like a phoenix, without a scratch on her. Here she is, a goddess in a garbage bag. Sarah's smiling, radiant in the afterglow. The rain's falling again. Rain falls. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I would never take that fucking out. Yeah. I know when I'm channeling. Ugh. Will this be an audiobook? Honestly, everything that you see me edit on here should be an audiobook. I'm just, I've been talking about putting together audiobooks. Maybe today's the fucking day where I'll just actually start recording. I put so much time into like thinking about how I want to do the audiobooks and like all this. I never just actually, because it's work. It really is work. It's like trying to convince yourself to do push-ups or something like that. It's physical work, but this one needs to be an audiobook. This one may be better suited for a professional reader than yours truly, right there. If we could get an old Brooklyn guy with like a real Brooklyn. I mean, I can kind of fake the Brooklyn accent if I have to. But we're gonna try and see if we can get Lemon maybe picked up by a publishing house. I don't know why I fucking do this. I don't like publishing people for the most part. I have some dear friends who are involved in publishing, and they're amazing and everything, but holy shit, they are not my type of people at all. You know what I mean? Like, every time I hang out with these people, I come away from it like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't, what the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Don't care if it hurts. I want to have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice. Oh. She walks gingerly on the sidewalk. You never notice how much broken glass there is until you don't have any shoes. This is true, by the way. Shouts to Die Hard. Sarah can't take a cab. She has no money at her apartment, no way to get in. Her house keeps... Sarah can't take a cab. She has no money at her apartment and no way to get in. Her house keys are still on the beach, melted into an unrecognizable pool of slag. People turn their heads to stare at her, but they seem so small, so inconsequential. What are they against the storm? Ooh. I really, really like the Sarah Shiner character in this story. She's a fucking real one, through and through, right there. And I want to, if we can, I'd like to avoid some of the like tough woman tropes or pitfalls into there, because she, we don't want, this character is not good at everything, right? She has a very basic education. She's coarse as fuck, not socially gifted, not super attractive either, but just the same, like still a fucking real one there. We want to think of her as just being, yeah, dirty needles on the beach under the pier. Oh yeah, those fucking junkies. It's not so bad. You don't see a lot of syringes flying around New York City in most of the spots that I get to. The junkies exist, but it's hard on them out here, especially after the winter. The winter fucking wipes those people out. It's not like California, where literally like they could just pave the streets with syringes and be done with it. Like use hobo feces for mortar, and there you have. That's San Fran in a nutshell. There's an agent at the booth of the subway station. Yeah. What is that station? So I should know this. The Stillwell Avenue station. No, I've been to Brighton. Yeah, I used to live in London, actually, way back in the day. I used to live in Brixton, and plenty of junkies there as well. Fucking love, I love living in London. It was amazing. What a time to be alive. That was back in, I want to say 2002, maybe. Yeah, just living in Brixton. Going down to this coffee shop called the Dog Star to write my very first novel ever. Fucking taking the tube. I was dating this Egyptian girl who was just unbelievably gorgeous at the time, and she was paying all the bills because she was like 28 and I was 20, and it was just it was one of those things, man. I was a good woman. Yeah, I was not a smart guy to fuck that up. But when you're 20 years old, you're not smart. That's all there is to it. She's doing real well too. I really like her. I'll tell you one thing about that woman. Like when they had that whole Syrian refugee crisis, Like everybody I know on Facebook was like, oh, it's awful and it's terrible and this is like, such a tragedy. And she's like one of those people who is like very far left and very aghast at what's happening to America. She actually left America because she couldn't deal with the politics anymore. Like all the people who were like, if he gets elected, I'm gonna fucking leave. She did that. She just fucking left. She's like, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And when they had the refugee crisis, she was like, okay, I got this. And she went and I think went to Syria and adopted a child from there and took her back and raised her with her family. She already had a child of her own. Yeah, that woman is no bullshit. She really talked the talk. I never saw her like say she was going to do something and then not do it. And there are not a lot of people like that in the world who are real like that. Oh, Crystal Palace. I remember Crystal Palace. Fuck. Yes. I think I like bought a bicycle and rode out to Wimbledon one day. It's fucking. I can't remember all that went down back then, but I would live in London like pretty easily. I bet it's expensive now. I don't know if I ever make big author bucks. I'll probably buy some apartment in Amsterdam and spend a significant amount of time in London because I fucking love it over there. Not that I don't love it here. It's just, I've been in New York a long time. I could stand a change of scenery. All right, but there's an agent at the booth at the Stillwell. There's an agent inside the booth at the Stillwell Avenue station. If she hops the turnstile, the alarm will go off and cops will come. MetroCard is one word, by the way. Zap. I love the word zap, by the way. Anytime that somebody gets fucking dunked on in a contest of will or wits or whatever, I'm always like, zap, nigga. Like I fucking love it. Novelist power up. You don't have to describe everything. There's a fine balance on what you have to do right here. Here we've already gone into it once and described her shorting out a subway panel, but a lot of this description is important right here. I will tell you that I recently started doing this project where I'm gathering at the back of the player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. There's a suggested reading list, and there are about 80 books there, and some of them are like trilogies and series. And I gathered them all together, and I'm gonna make a torrent of them and then include my books in it to try and get some traction from software pirates. But so I'm like, well, why don't I just read through some of these? And some of them are really good. There are a lot of older stories from like the turn of the century, some of the early science fiction and horror fantasy and so forth. Some of them are really fucking good. But then some of them are like, I'm trying to read it right now. Terry Brooks's The Sword of Shannara. And let's see, Stainless Steel of the MetroCard Reader. Oh yeah, we're going to change that line. I'm still in the process of rewriting that line. But I started reading The Sword of Shannara, and I'm not even 10 pages into this thing yet. And those 10 pages that I've read could have been 2 paragraphs. And like I know he's trying to like build a world and evoke and so forth, but there are so many unnecessary words. And in fantasy, you can a little bit get away with that. Readers want to be kind of lulled into a story and told a tale, and they want to feel like otherworldly and so forth. They're willing to put up with like a lot more bullshit than other genres. And I'm no longer like a fantasy genre reader for the most part because I find it like pretty difficult to plow through. With each of these books, I'm gonna give it about 50 pages, and then I'm like I'll see if I want to continue, and then I'll do a little write up if I can. So let's. Yeah. So his suggestion there, which is that stainless steel is like, yeah, I kind of agree that what are we? Yeah, I think Brongulus is where it's at. It's true that it's just an adjective the way that we have it, but if we change it so that it's her fingers brushing against the stainless steel, then we have a little bit of it because people know what it feels like to be there. So we had like a little bit of tactile description there. Then it's like a little bit better. Then we're doing a little bit more to evoke this is a real thing that's happening. Look, it's tangible. Like she can feel stainless steel, and we don't need to like describe every little thing that's in there. And I think it's super valuable anytime somebody asks, "Does this need to be here?" Because a lot of the time, this does not need to be there, especially if it sticks out to somebody. So it's worth always considering that. And it's easy to like fall into the oh yeah, but I'm trying to evoke or whatever. And it's great. It's good to try and evoke, but is what you're trying to evoke effective? And if it's not effective, it needs to be out because every word that somebody has to read is effort. And it's just like a miniature amount of effort, but you know, like eyes going across a page are burning like microcalories, and processing language is not free. So we have a limited budget for how much of my bullshit people are willing to pay attention to. Okay, and I like this here, where this is an image that to me, it's immediately apparent, you know, like of her hopping the turnstile bar and this garbage bag barely covers her. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. Tell me more. It immediately grabs my interest. so we need to edit that paragraph a little bit. Regenerated is wrong. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like you have to spend some ATP to move them fucking peepers. You ever seen somebody on a subway, like, or on a train or something, just like looking out and like looking at their eyes, like the like flickering thing that they do as they're like constantly focusing on so forth. It was wild. It gives me a headache just watching people's eyes flick like that because I can be prone to, I don't get seasick or motion sick or whatever on the subway almost ever. But if I haven't driven in a car for a while and I'm like have to ride in the back seat, I'm like, fuck. It's Twitter made me notice how what I'm trying to say can be refined and just how many times I write unneeded words. Yeah, we're very fucking profligate with our words. And by the way, that could have been we're profligate with words. There's like kind of a zen part to it where you're trying to say like what is needed and what can be gone. And some people are very, very good at like these sparse narratives where it's just nothing but skin and bone. But I don't like, like to me, part of what I want out of writing, I'm not there for like an austere experience. Like I want, Stephen King does a little bit where he talks about the unabridged version of The Stand and his theory on it, where he's like, like, yeah, we can take out the section with the kid where he's sodomizing Trash Can Man. But, it's like we're stripping all the chrome off an old fucking caddy. I want that chrome. Ooh. And I do like the unabridged The Stand. I don't know why the kid with the shark fin on the top of his car is a thing, but, yeah, because you never know what's going to resonate with the reader. Anyhow, I like that scene. I remember getting hard to it when I was 12. Yeah, you'll never forget the things that make you hard when you're 12 years old. Holy fuck. Yeah, that sticks with you forever. Um, what, where he's like screwing his dick into Trash Can Man's asshole. And, yeah. He's calling him like trashy and so forth. Was that I don't know. I didn't hold a lot of particular appeal to me. I remember being like more like, ugh, what the fuck, trashy. I remember the scene with Larry Underwood going back to Rita, and he finds her like with like green puke coming out of her mouth because she's OD'd on pills, and he like runs out of the tent. He's like, "Man, I was going back in there to fuck her." He was, oh, that's right. He was ramming the gun up Trash Can Man's ass, like barrel raping him to make him jack him off. And then later, he sodomizes, he like butt fucks the Trash Can Man. Yeah, shout outs to our PG-13 crowd out there. I remember the scene with like Larry Underwood where she was a dental hygienist, but she gave great oral. God. It's apparently, yeah, I forgot all about the gun up his ass there. So, my neighbor's dog is licking my balls. Yeah, this is a real paragon of fucking civility that we have going on here in this chat. She needs to be careful. At least she has a seat on the subway. Sarah holds her legs tightly together, tugging the garbage bag down with one hand. She keeps looking up and down the train. Let's see. Shout outs to. Oh, not now. You said things that made you hard when you were 12. Uh, ooh. And then we got Sour or Solar Eclipse. Oh, Solar Eclipse. Now following on Mixer. Shout outs to Solar Eclipse. Big up yourself. I remember, what fucking grade was I in? It might have been like 5th or 6th grade. I found a book on the school bus, and it was called My Secret Garden. And at that point in my life, I would just read anything that I came across. And My Secret Garden was a collection of women's erotic fiction. And one of the stories in it was about a woman smearing peanut butter on herself and calling her dog over. And I must have been like maybe like 10 or 11 years old reading this. I was like, what the fuck? And that's when I learned what white women are really all about. It literally like that is, I wonder who started that fucking meme that white girls fuck dogs. Because that's been making the rotations. I've seen like a few meme songs about it and so forth. Uh, it really has entered into the public consciousness. Good job, whoever hates white women and wants to make it it's just like a good slam on them. And it's really gained traction. Yeah, white women are really taking a pounding lately. What with this Karen thing and them being memed into dog fuckers. And I don't know. Those poor white women. They're, what are they going to do with themselves and all their money and so forth? Yeah, it's just the speed at which people have adopted that stereotype, that like almost blood libel or whatever. Uh, we're not good people. We're not good at all. All right, what do we got here? At least she has a seat on the subway. Yeah. At least she has yeah. She keeps turning her head to scan the car behind her. Uh, She's at the front of the train and she keeps turning her head to scan the car behind her. Yeah, I don't, this whole thing doesn't track right to me. No, well, look up and down the other her. Yeah, I'm like how any of this tracks. All right. Mm. She's the only one in her car. She keeps turning her head to scan the other cars. Uh. 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 That's better. All right, so that was like a janky paragraph. At least she has a seat on the subway. Sarah holds her legs tightly together, tugging the garbage bag down with one hand, even though she's the only one in her car. She keeps a close watch on the car behind. She keeps a close watch on the other cars, scanning for the two-way radios subway cops carry. Mm-hmm. He is not I. All right, hold on. So they want to do one. uh, so we really want to question whether we want to make, whether we want to mention the race of the men here. Um, Taser twat. It's a good one. Yeah, I think it's not impossible that Sarah, who's from a working class, she's a New York native, by the way, so race is going to play significantly less of a factor for her. But she's also involved in the trades. She's like a construction worker and was raised by a single father who would have been like fairly protective and so forth. And I want to say that they're from South Brooklyn, so like the degree of racism that she would have absorbed is like not insignificant. It's enough that she would be like, a little bit like that if she sees two black guys coming off of a subway platform. Um, that's I want to like dive a little bit more into this wasn't part of the original narrative, but those guys could have had any number of motives there. They could have just been like, "What the fuck is that?" Um, or they could have been like, "Jesus, this lady might need our help," or they might have been like, "Yo, hey, when in Rome." Or maybe their cell phones are dead and they just need a charge from her. Fucking could be any number of things. But I like I like when we use ready to bolt with Sarah, because I'm not sure if she's going to run away or try to like zap them with a fucking lightning bolt. Their eyes lock on Sarah and they slow to a stop just in front of the exit. For a moment, she thinks they're about to come after her. For a moment, yeah. For a moment, Sarah thinks they're about to come after her. She tenses, ready to bolt. Like it. I like it a lot. Would they turn to each other? So it's two guys like rolling up, like, whoa. All right, let's try and get like our blocking right here. So these two guys are coming off of the subway. They're just fucking joking around and so forth. You see this white woman wearing a fucking garbage bag standing 20 feet away from you. And you're just like, what? And like their eyes lock on Sarah and they slow to a stop just in front of the exit. For a moment, Sarah thinks they're about to come after her. She tenses, ready to bolt. So uh wait. So this is a good spot to get a little bit into our character's head right there, because she's becoming like a little bit unhinged, and will continue throughout the course of the book right here. It's a good spot to have like a moment of clarity where she's like, "Why did I fucking do that?" Because it's not cool to just like start cackling at people and fucking weird them out and send them like dashing off for the exit right there. This fucking beach ball, man. OSX. What are you even fucking trying to do, OSX? It's like a Word document. There's nothing happening on this machine. It's like, what do we have? Like a few Safari tabs, and it's just Pages fucking shitting them. Oh, Pages is done for, huh? Well, sad to say. I'll tell you one thing. They have gotten a lot better at documents getting recovered within Pages. Yeah, look how it goes to it. And it has to fucking parse the entire document and so forth. A few times I've lost. I've never lost. Oh, let me knock on some fucking wood. Here. But what were we at? We were like 241. No, we were significantly behind 241. Getting all kinds of flashes of shit you shouldn't know. There we go. Oh, we lost a little bit of it. I do that? Sarah wonders. Glance instead of stare +1. Cool. Yeah. I think actually you did a few good things in that particular section, so I like it. Yeah, and definitely like we staring is like they're like, huh? You know, like it's more like you seeing this shit. In fact, their eyes lock on Sarah and they slow to a stop just in front of the exit. For a moment, Sarah thinks they're about to come after her. So here's another thing is that she would be like taking a gander at like the lights going off in their heads, um, like basically trying to get a read on cool. Why did I do that? She didn't see anything threatening happening in their brains. They probably just wanted to see if she was okay. A moment of guilt. Then she shorts out another turnstile as she exits. I don't like that. I don't like moment of guilt. Yeah, hold on just a second. I love that. Yeah. Is that racist? Is she losing it? Does she have to stir it out another turnstile to get out of here? All signs point to yes. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I like that a lot. We can pull out our fucking magic 8 ball for this one. Yeah. It's 10 painful blocks and a gauntlet of staring eyes to her apartment. With every step, she prays she doesn't run into anyone she knows. Hold on, let me make sure there's not another Maurice. Yep. Maurice. We can just take out, we can just call him unorthodox. No, I don't like that description. Former dentist from Staten Island. That's basically like saying he's Jewish. Bam. Mm. Sarah's landlord is a former dentist from Staten Island named Maurice. Maurice is a heavy drinker. It takes 10 minutes of banging on his door to rouse him. Sarah's landlord is a former dentist from Staten Island named Maurice. He lives upstairs. Maurice is a heavy drinker. It takes 10 minutes of banging on his door to rouse him. Normally, his drinking is a major pain in the ass. He takes months to fix anything, and after a few, he clops her. Let's give him a last name too. All right, readers, you can give me the last name for this guy. It has to be a name that a guy from Staten Island could conceivably have. It could be like real Jewy or super Italian, or you can get away with a lot of shit right there. It can be a reference to another science fiction writer. Let me see. Maybe something like Polish, like Blaskowitz or Blovaselek or Blagojevich. Maurice Benton. All right, so this Benton. I'd like it if we could have a. Oh, you know what? He's not going to be Maurice. It's going to be Jules. So stupid. Is that so fucking oh yeah, shout out to Spithiwa. Is naming him Jules so fucking corny that it knocks the reader out of the book? I don't care. I want Jules. We can it's fairly punny but not overpowering, so Sarah's landlord. Whew. Clipping that typo. I don't know what typo it was. And yeah, I'm open to reader suggestions for that last name. This is the only time in the story that this guy will appear, so we don't want to get too deep into it right here. But I do like just establishing like him as a drunk gives us an excuse for why he buys our terrible story. So Jules or Bennett, Jewish people don't name their kids Jules. Uh, Jules is kind of French. When you're looking, well, let's. Isn't that like out of Pulp Fiction? Jules Alex, Medcraft, Vern, Jules Verne. Oh, Jules Bianchi, first name Jules. Merkowitz, Polkovich, Jules Cruz, Jules Leotard. Did he invent the fucking leotard? Jules Laforgue. I like La. YouTube star? Why does that fucking matter? How about Jules Laurent? Sarah has rented Jules Laurent's basement apartment for the last 2 years. Jules had a dental practice in Staten Island until he lost his license. Merkowitz. What in the world? Oh, so we're just giving a name to this character, real quick. So I'm calling him Jules Laurent. Jules Laurent. Laurent. I don't know who Jules Laurent. Jules Laurent. Are you shitting me? I don't know. Like, fucking help me out here. I'm struggling to come up with a name for this motherfucker. Kosciuszko? Semicolon. No, I don't think we're going to keep this sentence. Now he just drinks. Now he just drinks. It takes 10 minutes of banging on his door to rouse him. Ooh, I like Statka. Highfalutin Euro systems. Who is Jules Laurent? Never heard of this guy. Oh, Laurent. Jules Laurent. Now I get it. What about Jules Laurent? Jules Laurent. I like it. Is that even a name that anybody would believe? Laurent. Yeah, let's take it. Sarah has rented Jules Laurent's basement apartment for the last 2 years. Jules had a dental practice in Staten Island until he lost his license. Now he just drinks. Anglicize is Lawrence. I don't think we have to anglicize it. I think I like that. I like Jules Laurent. I like that both of his names are just like a slightly annoying pun. Jules Laurent is now a person to me. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue. It sounds good. I could see a fucking, like I'm picturing like fucking, losing a bit on top, fucking gaining a little weight. Just like, anytime you ask him to do something, that kind of like cigarette smell clinging to him right there on a first name basis with the woman, like the Chinese woman that runs the liquor shop, like down the road, like in the driveway, probably sitting like a Mercedes where the the muffler is barely hanging on. You know what I'm saying? Like missed his last two oil changes. That's what I'm talking about. We don't have to throw all that in the book, but that's what I'm seeing. Jules is a terrible landlord. It takes him months. But now Sarah's thankful he's still half drunk. All right, so we gotta. This takes place at 5:44 a.m. That's her rummaging. Yeah, we can. Uh, yeah, it can be 7 a.m. right now. It could have taken her an hour to get there. Hemorrhoids, so he grumbles when he walks. Ooh, I don't want to be that dude. No, I wanted to do like it's beyond lame. It's crippled. But now Sarah's thankful he's still just half drunk at 7 a.m. because her excuse is just as garbage as her attire. Yeah, I think we the problem is that we have gone to the well of god awful a number of times previously in this book, and like god awful only has so much excuse. Comma. But now But now Sarah's thankfully still half drunk at 7 a.m. Her excuse is as garbage as her attire, and no sober person would believe it. AM is like that. Her excuse is as garbage as her attire, and no sober person would believe it. She lies and she tells Jules she got mugged, and they tore her clothes up trying to rape her. All right. It doesn't quite work for me. Her excuse is as trash as her attire. No sober person would believe it. Her excuse is trash, just like her attire, and no sober person would believe it. I like it. Yep. Did I already get to the? Yeah. Wait. Her excuse is trash. Um, needs an is after excuse. Yeah. I already got to that. I beat you to the punch, Spathiwa, for once. I hate the word attire used in Cold Blood. You could say her excuse is as trash as the bag she's wearing. I actually kind of like her excuse is trash, just like her attire, and no sober person would believe it. I like it. I like it because the use of attire there's really kind of like this sneering, like her excuse is trash, just like her attire. Oh, now I'm hearing what you're saying there, where you don't like the resonance of attire. Yeah, it's like beverage. It's cold and clinical, and nobody would say it in real life. Uh, hmm. It does have like a little of that ring. I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna stick with it for right now, but I think you're probably right. I just like the way that this one rings out. So let's try and change the word tells there, because I think tells us fabricates, slanders, tale. Uh, she feeds Jules a line of bullshit about getting mugged. Saying her clothes got mugged. Now I like adding Puerto Ricans there, but I don't think the Puerto Rican people have done anything to deserve that slander. Mm. So we need to change his name from Maurice. All right, so let's take a look. Police only gave you a garbage bag? What the fuck is with this city? Jules shakes his head blearily. He's not quite drunk enough to believe her, but not sober enough to give a shit. Still, he asks her about 20 times if she's okay as he's letting her into her apartment. He finally leaves her alone after admonishing her to turn off the alarm clock if she's gone. Apparently, it was going half the morning yesterday until he came in to cut it off while she was passed out. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it was going half the morning yesterday while she was passed out on the floor of the pits. I'll stick out tomorrow there because it's weird, you know. Like it's fucking October 9th. Why is she paying rent on the 9th? My English foo has fallen asleep, so I better do the same. Good night. Hey, thanks for being a part of it here. I think we're making some good progress on this show. I like some of those edits right there. Sorry I can't take them all, but we'll just have to rock with it there. Sarah lets out a long breath. And she bolts the door. At least now she has a good excuse for not having the rent. All right. She takes off the garbage bag and throws it away. Beside the shower, mm-hmm. Oh, so her feet wouldn't be black because it's still raining in the story. All right, let's Jules low rent. Ergretic. She doesn't have a boyfriend. He bolted. Yeah. By the time she makes it to our landlord's door, her feet are sore and flecks of mud and filth have climbed up to her calves. Yeah, that'll happen if you're walking in the rain. better. Okay, so the storm's not raging. Oh, hold on just a second. This I gotta see. Okay. Yeah, same shit as yesterday. Through the roof, she can see potential building in the clouds above. The storm's not quite done with the city. She considers getting off again, but she worries she'll attract lightning and burn down the apartment. She'll draw the lightning and burn down the building. I like that. Yeah. She lies in bed instead. Sarah lies in bed instead. Oh, she's already lying in bed. Sarah shuts her eyes instead and drifts. She may have killed a man today. She has no money. She had to walk. She may have killed a man today. She has no money, and she had to walk home in a garbage bag. None of that matters. Nothing matters but the storm and feeling free. Her muscles have all turned into wax. Her muscles have all turned to wax and melted into the bed. Through the ceiling, the upstairs apartment. Peering through the apartment. Let's see. Peering through the apartment above hers and the roof in her second sight, Sarah can see charge rippling in the clouds above. The storm is subdued, but not yet finished with the city. The storm isn't quite through with the city. No, I don't like that. Yeah. The storm has mellowed in its old age, but it's still beautiful. She considers getting off again, but she's a little worried she'll draw the lightning and burn down the building. Instead, she shuts her eyes and drifts. Sarah may have killed a man today. She has no money and she had to walk home in a garbage bag. But none of that matters. Nothing matters but the storm and feeling free. Yeah, we can't have it be 7 a.m. earlier because the clock starts ringing at 7 a.m. Cool. It would be nice to say at 7 a.m., but also, why is her clock going? I don't know why, as a construction worker, her alarm clock would be going off at 7 a.m. Doesn't make any sense. No construction job starts that late. But, well, it depends. I mean, it depends on where she's working at, I guess. Oh, fuck it. Sarah's muscles have turned to wax and melted into the bed. Concentrating on the charge above, she feels her center sail up towards it, leaving her body behind. Every cent of unpaid rent. All her concerns and tax returns, they remain. Sarah, the real Sarah, starts to rise. Her center is sailing upward to join the charge, dancing above. Leaving her body behind. Whew. Toward it shouldn't be there. Okay. Instead, she shuts her eyes and drifts. Sarah may have killed a man today. She has no money, and she had to walk home in a garbage bag. But none of that matters. Nothing matters but the storm and feeling free. With her body, she abandons every cent of unpaid rent, health concerns, and tax returns. Let's... That was a little hokey right here. We're still... Sarah, the real Sarah, is on the rise. No, these should be hyphens. Yeah, so I think I just edited out the toward part. She's supposed to be getting up for work, but that's all done now. Too many days gone. Absences no excuse could cover. She's too ashamed of bailing to even go in to ask for her last check. Man, I fucking felt that before. Yeah, I've definitely gotten into situations where people owed me like literally like tens of thousands of dollars, and I was just like so ashamed of not invoicing them. That maybe a colon. Uh, Flashing. 7, 7, 7. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Sarah hates the clock and everything it represents. She should be getting up for work right now, but that's all over. Damn, what was my story about it? I think I've told it on this show like a few times. But literally, like, I just hate invoicing people. And one time, like, I had a big client, and I let invoices build up for like a fucking year, and it went past the fiscal year. And I had to go to him and just say, "Hey, I'm sorry, there was a problem in our system, and like we didn't invoice you for a fucking year." And it was thousands and thousands of dollars. And so many times where I've delivered 90% of the work but haven't invoiced because I couldn't be bothered to do the other 10%. I know that, like, I'm better about it now. I even do like expenses and shit. But yeah, I just fucking hate money. Yeah, I don't like having it for the most part. And if you don't like money, it is very easy to get rid of it. You will find in this life. God. Yeah. If you don't have any money, there. Oh, you're in the middle of it right now. Yeah. It really is just not good to get behind on your taxes and invoicing and shit like that. I think me too. Yeah, we're all fucking like this. By the way, all us like sort of technical dudes. Like when I went in and just was like, hey, I haven't paid taxes in a decade. They're like, yeah, you and every other guy like you, because like a bunch of us like in graduate from fucking school, and I will tell you, like in the States, paying taxes if you're only doing consulting work and so forth is a fucking shit show. They want you to pay a lot of fucking tax, like way more than you should, and there's zero help with it. You have to do everything your fucking self or whatever. I didn't like it. Yeah, weirdest gypsy ever. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean all this makes sense in context, but yeah, very strong in me is a desire to just get rid of everything that I fucking own, move into like an RV, and escape from all this shit. But I don't know if I'm gonna. I mean, just for the hating money part, no. I mean, like if you look at people who are like that, right? Who are acquisitive, right? It's not like I don't like getting money. I just don't like having it. You know what I mean? I don't like having it around me. So I just spend it all on stupid shit. You know, I just don't feel like when there's a bunch of it in my, like, if I have like a bank account or whatever, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I think somebody, this is the kind of thing that like therapy could probably resolve. Uh, 'Cause I never liked it. Like having a bunch of it, you know, always just felt like a burden to me. And so I would get rid of it as swiftly as possible, to the absolute consternation of every woman I've ever dated. Like, as soon as they have any idea of what my finances are like, they're like, oh, okay, this is over. Because Caravan of Turtle Van, the new Army MRAP, and an RV, like that truck boat truck from fucking Squidbillies. Is that what you're talking about there? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it all comes down to. She missed too many days. Now she's too ashamed of bailing to even go in to ask for her last check. I like that. That feels, so we were just talking about that, but that feels super real to me. I think, um, I hate money and many addictions, not a good combo. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to have money, this world is glad to oblige you. It's like, oh yeah, I can handle that for you there, guy. Step right up. Anyhow. Yeah, and as soon as I start thinking about money, like I just like the world loses all of its fucking magic for me. Like if I think about it like in the middle of the night, I'm like, ugh, not gonna get back to sleep. Scammed by the rat race. I just discarded it a couple years ago. Honestly, I just need money for carnitas and scotch, and that's really it. Yeah, all I got to tell you is it's just, you know, editing ain't free, so I got to work. That's what really is to it. And New York City is fucking monstrous. But yeah, I can feel myself getting to the end of it. You know what I mean? The end of my ability to be all keyed up all the time and just stressed out and so forth. I like definitely have recently been thinking about like my time on the road and was missing it, you know? Just I like fucking sleep like 6 hours a night, and it's because I'm so tense all the time. I don't know, maybe I'll get into yoga. Money for a honey to take care of me when I'm 60. Nigga, if you think I'm making it to 60, like what you thinking? I don't believe it, but I didn't think I'd make it this far. To tell you the truth, I did not plan for this. More than anything, she wants that shrill beeping to end. She wants the clock to shut the fuck up and never make another sound, but it's out of reach for a reason. Its job is to make her get up when she doesn't want to pull her out of the warm bed long enough that re-entry is impossible. The space between her and the clock radio seems impossibly huge. The space between her and the clock radio seems astronomical. The effort of getting up enormous. Oh, I think that's too much. Astronomical's not good. Nice space analogy. Yeah, it's not good. Oh. Yeah, I don't think we can fit astronomical. Like, yeah, miles away. Let's just cut it. I think I think we understand that she doesn't want to get out of bed. Like, we don't even need that in there. Sarah can't just tune it out and fall asleep either. The land. Look at all these hers. Jules will come in and find her naked and immobile, and God knows what will happen. Probably he'll die. He really would die. He would just straight up fucking die laying a hand on her. And I like that Joel's Spathia point right there. I know very well that there are three hers repeated right there. I'm not totally blind. God. Joel's. I actually kind of like Joel's, but we can't do that. That's too fucking weird for no reason. Hmm. Okay. Let's fucking The beeping draws out into a low, wounded wail. The beeping draw. So I wrote her as an electrician, and not an electronics person because I know how electricity in a household setting works. I do not know how electronics work. So if you see any bullshit here, like I'm saying that the resistors make a sound as they pop, but probably they wouldn't. I think capacitors would pop. But would there be capacitors in a fucking alarm clock? These are questions that I do not know the answer to. I need like fucking JL soft in here or something. But if you know and I do not, let me know. So I think we can sidestep that by, because I don't know, like I was saying that resistors were popping. Hold on, let's fucking Google. Anything could pop. Do resistors pop? Reduce the pop on. Switch pop. Liquid-filled caps do explode. Okay. Yeah, magic smoke. Yeah, yeah. From 15 feet away, she twisted the current out of its circuits, popping capacitors and frying resistors. By will alone. I can do that? Her mind wheels with possibilities, spinning down into darkness. Okay, cool. Really enjoyed this chapter. Oh, yeah, the Sarah character is like super cool. There's just like a lot of neat possibilities and a lot of cool stuff going on with her. So I'm pretty happy that we got there. All right, so this is day number 2. And also we're just not getting through like a lot of word count here. But doing good work. Much better chapter. Okay, so we're climbing a little bit too, like building up our strength. So there were 1,300 words. So this is chapter... Did we not? Oh, day 25. Twisting currency. Current is like a flow of electricity. Can Aquaman twist? I think twist may be a legacy. Yeah, let's go back to it in a second. What was my fucking count there? 13, 17. You got a time for me there? Oh, hold on. That's actually super inaccurate to ask viewers because it goes by when they join. Okay. So I'm going to say 2.5 hours here. All right, let's... At least we're picking up the pace. We went from 780... Actually, like a lot of these are like 500 some days. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. This is just a lot of work right here. All right, let's think a little bit about... Let's say pulled. No, let's say drew. No, I've always been accurate. Have you truly? Okay. Well, I'll take your word for it. All right, well, thank you to everybody who was a part of this right here. I just really, like, this character is so fucking cool. Like, I love the limitations, like, put into, like, the crazy power that this character has. I like that they have, like, a different perspective. I like their frame of mind. Like, I can relate to, like, some of the struggles that this character is going through. And I think it's like, maybe more of a complete character than some of the other ones in this story. Like, not like a little bitch like Maybe, and not quite so hokey as Lemon right there. Not quite as creepy as DeChance. Just like a good all-arounder there. I like him. All right, so in other news right here, I'm working on the typeset of Space Tards. It's almost done. Spathiwa, if you have a hot second, imagine not being able to jerk off because people will die. Well, she doesn't really want to there. It's one of those, I guess I could, right around here. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like she has a burning need to, she just spent all fucking morning zapping herself like crazy. So pretty soon, I'm going to have the print book done for Space Tards, and I may ask for your help getting an ebook together. So I'll holler at you. Real talk.